Good. Let's see if he can put it on display today.
Some high praise as we are underway in Ithaca, and it's the top seed, Cornell Big Red, that start with the ball in the home white. The Great Danes in the road purple. Well, these two teams met 6 weeks ago on this very field. Cornell won that game 18-11, got off to a strong start in that first quarter. But what has made Cornell so tough to beat this season, Jules, has to be on the offensive end.
Absolutely. As they get settled in today, everyone eats on offense. So the number one rated offense in the country. Albany can do their best to neutralize CJ, but he's going to get his points. They're going to have to make sure that they limit Ryan Goldstein on the offensive side of the ball. Here he is with it right now.
Goldstein spinning his way free, curls around. Great save. Brady Smith, just a freshman. And his head coach, Scott Marr, said he's going to need to make 20 saves to give us a shot. There's the first.
It's a tall task for a freshman, but he has the pedigree. He's won a state championship in high school before he got here. He's a guy that they believe is going to be great for the next 4 years.
UAlbany has won 8 of their last 9 games. The lone loss came to this Cornell team. Does it help them that they saw him just 6 weeks ago?
Absolutely. There's a familiarity factor, and in that game, they went down early. I think they were down 8-1 to start, and then they made a comeback, and I felt like if they had started that game off a little bit closer, they actually potentially had an opportunity to be in it. It was a little bit of a blowout, but it definitely gives them just a different level of scout coming into today.
Wyatt Nust in cage for Cornell. As UAlbany very patient on this attack. Shot clock is ticked down to 20. Kesselring. And now Parker Emmett. 10 seconds to shoot. Well defended by Cornell. Nust out of his cage. Clamps the ball until the shot clock expires.
Tremendous takeaway check by number 43 in white.
We want to welcome everybody that just watched that thrilling finish between Syracuse and Harvard. The Orange winning in overtime. Jules Henningberg, Jay Alter with you right down the road in Ithaca. Top-seeded Cornell just getting started against the America East champs UAlbany. And here's CJ Kurse, the nation's leading scorer, 15 in white. All eyes go to Kurse when he has the ball, but this is not just a one-man team. So balanced, the Ivy League champs. That whizzes wide. And there's a reason the Big Red have won 10 in a row. Obviously, Kurse, Jules, gets the headlines, but this is a balanced offense.
It's balanced. Michael Long, number 1 in the white. I don't think he gets enough credit, Jay. He's on the attack. Ryan Goldstein, number 30. That is one of the most dynamic attack units in the country.
Goldstein one-handed off to Kurse. Crease violation, though. Dove in on that pass attempt. Now, if you just watched Syracuse at Harvard, we were watching with you. We had it over on a monitor here in the broadcast booth. That is what makes this weekend special. You see a team like Syracuse score 7 fourth-quarter goals that force overtime, come back from 6 down to win it. You never know what's going to happen in this opening week of the NCAA tournament, and that's why if you're UAlbany, you give yourself a chance, a team that's playing their best lacrosse the right time of the season.
Jay, I was absolutely drinking the Cuse Kool-Aid after watching them a week ago in the ACC tournament. I just felt like they were playing at a different level in terms of their toughness, and you saw that today, them going down, that head, heart, hustle. That's the culture of Syracuse lacrosse this year. Good ball movement here by the Great Danes. UAlbany, what a turnaround to their season to get to this point. Started the year 2-7. They have won 8 of their last 9 games, 7 in a row. That lone loss was here in Ithaca against Cornell on April 1st. And the Big Red defense delivers again. They have caused 2 turnovers on the first 2 Great Danes possessions. both of those coming from number 43 in white, Jason Singer. Cornell has struggled off ball this year. To see Singer getting in lanes and causing turnovers, that's huge for them to settle in defensively and not give Albany chances off ball.
And Cornell turns it over, offsides, gives the ball right back to UAlbany. $15 in purple, has it here. Silas Richmond, best player on the field for UAlbany. This is a Great Danes team that played on Wednesday night, had to win their way into the first round play-in game against the MAC champ Siena. They won 11-9. Richmond 2 goals and 3 assists in that game. Very two-handed. Shovel shot to open the scoring. Silas Richmond, are you kidding me? And it's UAlbany that draws first blood against the top-seeded Big Red.
Jay, I said it in the open. Silas Richmond, Lyle Thompson, Connor Fields conversation. That's the exact type of goal that those guys can score. You see here, initiate contact, get down the hash. I remember that exact same goal Lyle Thompson scored against Loyola in 2014. That was unbelievable out of Silas Richmond, that underhand scoop to the top corner.
Well, to hear his head coach, Scott Marr, who's in his 25th season, scramble in front of the cage. Well done by Brady Smith, the goalie, to secure that ball and restart the clear for UAlbany. But Great Danes head coach Scott Marr, 25th season, he said, look, I think Richmond is as good as a Lyle Thompson, a Connor Fields. You and I are saying we knew Richmond was a quality lacrosse player, no doubt about it. But to hear what his head coach had to say and to see that opening goal on this stage, you see it.
I see it. I'm excited for the Albany Great Danes to have a player like this perform on the national stage to show how good he really is.
And they go right back to Richmond. Why wouldn't you after that special goal to start the scoring here in Ithaca? Reversing field. Well defended, battle for the ball, stays with the Great Danes, closest to the ball when it goes out of bounds, stays on possession. Shot clock still with 20 seconds on it. Good save, Wyatt Nust, the senior who's been steady all season long for number 1 Cornell.
Wyatt Nuss locked in this season after last year. A little bit of a shaky season, potentially getting pulled. This year he's dialed in, he's been the starter, and he's been a consistent presence for them all year.
Well, this is a Big Red team that won the Ivy League a week ago, 14-1 on the year, 10 straight wins. Playing the best lacrosse in the country, so consistent. Everyone talks about the offensive end, and for good reason. Hugh Kelleher with a head of steam. Good ball movement here, but head coach Connor Busick telling us Wyatt Nuss and the defense, they do what they need to do. Complementary lacrosse, he calls it. This is Michael Long. Great pass. What a save! Brady Smith to deny Firth, the first team Ivy League midfielder. And Brady Smith dialed in the freshman to start this one.
And you could see that grin in his face. He's feeling it. After that, soaked that one right on the thigh.
Scott Marr, UAlbany head coach, saying Brady Smith's going to need 20 saves to win this game. He's got 2 big ones. And Cornell turns it over. So we mentioned the first meeting on April 1st between these two teams. UAlbany went down 7-1 in that first quarter. Much different story midway through this opening quarter.
Absolutely, they're coming out strong. They're definitely here imposing their will on Cornell. They know what type of team Cornell is. Another thing to watch out for, Jay, just a sun. A couple of errant passes we're seeing early on. We'll see how that affects the players for the rest of the game.
Jackson Palem in no rush here. The best defense for UAlbany is not letting Cornell get the ball, controlling the tempo and the pace of this game. Critical. This is Daniel Kesselring, dangerous junior. Off the helmet, Christopher Davis got in the way of that pass. It falls to the Great Danes. Silas Richmond has it. 20 seconds to work with. Palem weaving in. Great save, Wyatt Nust. Long ricochet, and the Big Red have numbers to Kirst. The extra pass, quick stick finish, but it won't count. Crease violation. Goldstein fell into the crease on the finish. Wave off the goal. Everything going UAlbany's way in this first quarter.
What a massive break there for the UAlbany Great Danes. Just an absolute slam dunk opportunity for Ryan Goldstein.
Hey, this is a Cornell offense that scored 20 goals in the Ivy League championship game and still scoreless here.
You just get the sense, though, Jay, this is only going to last for so long. If you're UAlbany, you have to take advantage of what is happening right now.
And right now, Cornell dialed in defensively. You see them getting in the way of passing lanes, soaking shots, and off running in transition again. Long pole on the doorstep, save made by Brady Smith. That's Jason Singer, the Ivy League Defender of the Year, trying to get in to the offense there. And Brady Smith with 3 early saves for UAlbany. Been critical to this strong start for the Great Danes.
You know, Jay, a lot of people tuning into this game might have thought that UAlbany, Cornell, they're just going to show up. Cornell is going to get the W. No, UAlbany is here. They're ready to fight. This is a playoff level lacrosse game right now. This is exciting.
Kirst trying to shake free. Double team comes in. Michael Long. Good ball movement. Kirst, Brady Smith the stop. The rebound goes in. Haynes and Marr told us, I've been exactly where Connor Busic's been, where I've got the nation's best player, a really talented team, and the stress of waiting until the final game of the first round. And right now, Cornell off to a slower start than we're used to seeing. And what has been an excellent battle between these two conference champions. Cornell winning the Ivy League, UAlbany the America East. Big Red missing their first 6 shots of this game before Michael Long finally found a breakthrough. Quick boot ball movement here, 30 seconds on the shot clock. Michael Long keeps it moving. Finds Kirst, deadly from there, C.J. Kirst. Buries his 69th goal of the season. And the senior fires the Big Red in front.
Jay, it's the ball movement for me with Cornell. It's just getting in and out of their sticks so quick. They know where the next guy is. They don't even have to look. They know he's open. C.J. Kirst, I don't know if there's a more automatic shot than him at 7 yards from that lefty wing right now in lacrosse.
Now we've got it as a 2025 Tewaaraton finalist, and it's not official. He's one of 5 finalists, but he's going to be the winner.
He's going to be the winner. It's resounding. I don't know if it's ever been a situation where we knew this early on that the Tewaaraton winner was going to be who it is. And it's just a credit to C.J. Kirst.
And this is the top-seeded Cornell Big Red we've been used to seeing, Michael Long. This offense is poetry in motion. 14 seconds in between those 2 Cornell goals.
And it just felt like it was only a matter of time before this happened. UAlbany needed to jump on it when they had the chance, and now potentially it's too late because Cornell is feeling it. Michael Long, that's his second goal of the game. He's at 29 goals for the season. He is dialed in with the rest of the Cornell offense.
Yeah, that's what's so incredible about this Cornell team. You see the CJ Kirst numbers, and as we were just saying, the heavy favorite to win the Player of the Year award, which is called the Tewaaraton in lacrosse. It's not just a one-man show, though. You got Michael Long, you have Ryan Goldstein, a dominant midfield headlined by Hugh Kelleher and Willem Firth. You know, their head coach, Connor Busick, says this team plays such complementary lacrosse. And even though Kirst is the headliner, it is not a one-man band. Here's Firth. Great footwork. Where's Jeff Tietzold, number 51 for Cornell. Another crafty Canadian that has made his way to Ithaca. Kirst unloads another. Brady Smith got in front of that one. 4 saves for Brady Smith, the freshman playing in his first NCAA tournament game.
Talk about an opportunity for Brady Smith, staring down CJ Kirst.
Turnover. Kirst can create instant offense off that ride. The Great Danes win it back. Silas Richmond, 15 in purple, the lone goal for UAlbany in this first quarter. It was a beauty. Shovel shot. Outside of that one shot that found the back of the net, the Great Danes have struggled to find a rhythm offensively in this first quarter. Credit Cornell's defense.
Feels like they're being patient on offense. I want them to be a little bit more aggressive attacking their matchups. They can't just continue to burn the entire shot clock down. I know they didn't want Cornell to have the ball, but they have to put their foot on the gas a little bit more.
5 turnovers for UAlbany in this first quarter. Pushing in transition. Walker Schwartz, the sophomore, couldn't really get a clean look there with a minute left to this first quarter. Cornell will reload with Kirst. And Ryan Sheehan just sitting on it. With the shot clock off, they can hold for the final shot of this quarter. Just an amazing weekend of lacrosse. This is the 8th and final game of an exciting first round. Winner of this matchup playing Richmond after the Spiders knocked off North Carolina yesterday. Cornell springs into the attack. 15 seconds remaining in the quarter. Kirst surveys. Trying to crossfield pass there. Knocked down well by UAlbany. Now just trying to dig it out and finish this quarter, and they will. So all things considered, on the road against the top seed in this tournament, pretty strong opening quarter for UAlbany defensively. Just the 1 goal from Silas Richmond, and Cornell leading by became the nation's leading scorer in the history of Division I lacrosse. Speaking with his head coach, Connor Busick, he says he embodies our team motto, which is well done is greater than well said, wearing that on the back of his hat tonight. And you see the reaction he gets from his teammates, Jules. He is beloved, he is respected, and because he embodies that motto, the players, his teammates around him really rally around Kirst and his ability to take this team to a new level.
He's always been a special human being, but in terms of him as a player, I grew up in New Jersey. I was very fortunate enough to play with the Kirst brothers going up, and I spoke to Cole, former teammate of mine for the Redwoods. We talked about CJ Kirst in 2nd grade playing up. at the Watchung Hills tournament, he had the opportunity, game on the line, riding the ball back, and continues to get and show who he is as a player. We're going to break here. Cornell's still up 3-1, and CJ Kurse is still doing his thing.
Popeyes has gone full pickle. You got your pickle glazed sandwich. You got your fried pickles, pickle glazed wings, and what? Pickle lemonade? Where my pickle people at? Love that pickle from Popeyes.
So there's your green, Dan. All right. We need the wheel. Perfect. Very nice.
Beep, beep.
A PenFed auto loan isn't just a great rate. It's another chapter in your great adventure.
Thanks for letting me drive, Dad.
PenFed's got great rates for everyone.
The NCAA, driving change to do more for today's student athletes. The NCAA programs deliver $4 billion in scholarships every year. Those D1 scholarships are now guaranteed. Health and well-being services are mandatory. Student athletes get tutoring as well as financial literacy coaching because almost everyone is going pro in something other than sports. The NCAA, driving change to do more for today's student athletes.
30 Seconds brand outdoor cleaner. Powers away grime in no time.
Holy acorns, Jimmy. Get a load of this guy's deck.
It's gonna take him all day to clean up that mess, Jack.
Not so fast, buddy. He's got 30 Seconds brand outdoor cleaner.
So?
Its powerful formula quickly cuts through dirt and grime, even mold and mildew stains.
Wow, that's clean.
And versatile enough to clean decks, fences, siding, stucco, brick, furniture, and more.
30 Seconds brand outdoor cleaner. Powers away grime in no time.
The NCAA Men's Lacrosse Championship is brought to you by McDonald's.
Rob Pennell, one of the best to do it in a Cornell uniform, one of the best to do it in all of college lacrosse. And what's so special about CJ Kurse's season is he is just 3 points shy of Rob Pennell's 102 points in that 2013 season. And overall, Kurse still got a little ways to go to match Pennell's 354 points. But the fact he's even in the conversation, his head coach, Connor Busick, saying that CJ Kurse is a program changer, and he has shown that this season.
The word that comes to mind, Jay, is impact. I can't tell you how many times I watched that Rob Pennell tape, and now there are thousands of kids across the country that are going to be watching CJ Kurse for years to come.
UAlbany coming out of the timeout. Kesselring dings it off a helmet. There's been more helmets and sticks and bodies in the way of these UAlbany passes and shots in this first half than I can remember in a long time. Cornell laying it all on the line to start this first round matchup. UAlbany trying to win it right back, battle for the ball. Walker Wallace keeps it for the Big Red. And a timeout taken now by Cornell. So we've seen 2 early timeouts in this second quarter. UAlbany taking one on their opening possession, and now Connor Busick taking one. Cornell, the #1 seed in this tournament for the first time since 1978. Obviously, the Big Red, a huge dynasty, winning 3 NCAA championships in the 70s, 71, 76, and 77. Richie Moran, the legendary head coach for the Big Red. And now back as the #1 seed. If they can get past UAlbany, Richmond awaits in the quarterfinals. Why is this a Big Red team that can hoist that trophy when it's all said and done on Memorial Day?
Honestly, outside of CJ Kurse, they have such firepower across offensively, but Jack Cascadden at the faceoff dot, I think it's critical to win the national championship. You need to be able to rely on your faceoff guy in the biggest moments. He's at 63% for the season. He's dominating 4-2 today right now. I think the combination of the make it, take it, Jack Cascadden, and the #1 offense in the country is going to be able to guide them to the national championship.
For Cornell standards, this is a slow start offensively.
Absolutely. And credit to the UAlbany Great Danes. They're playing very aggressively. Cornell, known for getting balls off the ground. Albany's competing on every single ground ball.
Now Michael Long, 1 in white, gets it here. Has to chase it down first. He's got 2 goals, and then C.J. Kirst has the 1. Those two, a terrific dynamic duo. You add in Ryan Goldstein, a 3-headed monster on attack. Long calling for it and gets it. Crossfield pass to find Kirst. And now Hugh Kelleher, swim dodge. Doesn't go to goal, though. This is going to stay Cornell's way. We just showed you C.J. Kirst going number 1 in the PLL draft earlier this week. Hugh Kelleher was selected as well in the 4th round. That was big 27 there. They were trying to feed him inside. A little too high there, and that's tough to do against Kelleher because he's 6'3", 225. You know, his stats don't jump off the page, Jules, but Ivy League midfielder of the year, so respected, such a big part of this Cornell team.
I mean, he's 6'3", 224 pounds. I know his stats aren't jumping off the page right now, but his impact is felt when he's on the field. He's just such a threat. You have to know where he is. If he gets his hands free, the ball is going in the back of the net.
It was incredible that he slipped to the 4th round. His head coach, Connor Busick, saying, I think a lot of people thought that he was trying to play college football this coming fall, which at one point was the plan, but now he is committed to the PLL. It's going to be fun to see him this summer play for the New York Atlas. New York coached by Mike Pressler, who engineered the biggest first-round upset in NCAA tournament history when Bryant took down Syracuse in 2013. If UAlbany wins tonight, they would be right up there with Bryant.
What an unbelievable feat that would be. Unseeded UAlbany taking down the #1 team in the country with the best player in the country.
They've done well to stay in the game so far. Only 1 goal to show for it, though. It belonged to Silas Richmond, who has it here. Passes off to the doorstep. Everything but the finish. Kesselring lacking that finishing touch in the critical moment.
I know Kesselring did not handle that, but again, that just shows Silas Richmond's playmaking ability to be able to draw that attention and get that pass off. That is a high-level opportunity he just generated.
What is UAlbany doing defensively to disrupt what has been an unstoppable Cornell offense for much of this season?
Well, I think they're doing a great job sliding and recovering, and then when they are recovering on the backside, number 20 in purple, Brady Quill, he's getting out to C.J. Kirst. C.J. Kirst loves to dodge the rush approaches on the backside. Tremendous job of him last possession to get out to him, and now it's number 33, Grady Calcos, guarding C.J. Kirst. Let's see how he can continue to do on him tonight.
This is a team that scored 20 goals in the Ivy League Championship. Right now being held at 3. Michael Long has 2 of the 3. Feeding this time. Willem Firth just couldn't find that cleanly, and UAlbany could start the clear. Cornell, 7 turnovers in this first half. Uncharacteristic for what has been the nation's best offense this season.
Very uncharacteristic, Jay, but when we talked to Coach Marr this week, he felt very confident going into this matchup. Obviously, they didn't win the first one, but he felt like they just got off to such a slow start that if they could get out to a faster start today, they could make this a game.
Yeah, the teams met 6 weeks ago on April 1st. Cornell won it 18-11. But UAlbany battling here 6 weeks later. James Reed perfectly placed. That's a great point going back to that first matchup. Scott Marr said, we were there for 3 quarters. The problem was the first quarter. They're showing that they can go toe for toe with the nation's top team.
And it starts with another tremendous effort on defense. You see Max Neeson there And then offensively, Ben Wimmer drawing the attention, getting it to James Reed, who just steps in. His hands are free. Nothing fancy about this, just putting the ball low, and Wyatt Nuss just can't get to it. And we've seen Albany develop these chances and get them, and they're just starting to drop now.
Long clamp between Cascaded and Moreno. Ball still loose. Finally, Cornell has it. Brendan Staub, the junior from Garden City, New York, not giving up on that ground ball off the faceoff. Now, Cornell had those 2 goals just 14 seconds apart, so they could string them together, particularly with how good they are at the faceoff X. But they have really yet to get into that big red rhythm that has launched them to the #1 team in the country, 10-game win streak. UAlbany is making them earn it, an inspired defensive effort in this first half so far.
And one adjustment that UAlbany made today, they put Max Neeson, the America East Defensive Player of the Year. You would think he'd be guarding CJ Kirsch. He's guarding Ryan Goldstein. I think that's disrupting the flow of this Cornell unit today.
Goldstein, 45 assists on the year, very much the quarterback. You're right, he's barely touched the ball in this first half. Kirsch. And the first flag of the game is thrown. And Cornell will move to the man up for the first time tonight.
God damn it! 7, illegal procedure, playing without equipment, 30 seconds. 77, illegal procedure, playing without equipment, 30 seconds. Reset the shot clock to 60.
That's against the long pole, Jacob Smith. So a 30-second man up coming for Cornell. Keep your eyes on 51 in white. Willem Firth, 9 man up goals this season for Cornell. First team All-Ivy League for a reason. One of 6 Cornell players to earn that honor this year. Midway through the man up. Very patient approach. They feed Firth, whizzes it wide. Inches away from his 10th man-up goal of the year, and now it's back to even strength.
Excellent job out of the UAlbany man-down unit there. They saw that crease open up a couple of times. I think Cornell missed it, and finally when they passed it in, they were able to clamp down on it.
13 seconds to shoot for the Big Red. Here's Michael Long. And now Kelleher. Splits 2, goes to goal, bounces it over. And the UAlbany defense delivers again. They kill the man up and grind another hard-fought possession out. They're playing with belief against the nation's top seed.
They are indeed. Jay, when push comes to shove, though, Hugh Kelleher, you watch there, he lowered his shoulder through 4 defenders and got on top of the crease. When Cornell needs a goal, that's the guy they can go to.
Like a freight train rolling down the tracks.
It's hard to stop.
UAlbany's been very comfortable with long offensive possessions. I mean, that's the best defense, right? Keep it out of Cornell's stick. You just don't want to be too conservative on the offensive end. Good save, Nust. Christopher Davis storming down the field. See if the Big Red can get something in transition, ringing it off the pipe. CJ Kirst will reload. Kelleher with a head of steam, lets it rip. Brady Smith says no. What a stop. Kelleher brought some serious heat. Smith with 5 saves in this first half for the Great Danes.
The freshman just staring Kelleher down, stepping up to the moment.
A year ago, Smith was getting ready for his high school prom and leading his high school state team to the state championship in New York, the Bayport Blue Point. Now he's doing it against #1 Cornell. Incredible moment for that young man. Kept alive. Alex Pfeiffer, the junior, lets it rip, and Nust read it the whole way.
That's back-to-back possessions, Jay, where I just felt like UAlbany either rushed a shot or took a shot at a low angle. I felt like that's not what they've been doing the whole game. You cannot give Cornell the ball back like this. It's only a matter of time before they're going to strike on you.
Brian Luzzy out of the box. Second line midfield on for Cornell, trying to ignite this offense. Good ball movement here. Bouncer and a goal. CJ Kirst notches his second of this first half. And that makes 100 points on the season for the senior. 70th goal to go along with 30 assists.
As I mentioned, Jay, it's just stick side high. Wyatt Nuss is reading that the whole way. You give Cornell the ball. Ryan Goldstein gets his hands free, which hasn't happened all game either. And then CJ Kirst, the unanimous best player in the country, is hands free at 10 yards. That's going to go in every time.
For as well as UAlbany has played in this first half, it has been a valiant effort. If you give a player like CJ Kirst an opportunity, he's had room twice and he's buried both of them.
If you give Cornell an inch, they're going to take a mile. UAlbany has to continue to be disciplined in their game plan. If not, this game can fall off the wheels fast.
Big face-off win to try and claw back some momentum. Only 6 goals scored in this first half. We expected a lot more scoring between these two teams. UAlbany looking for the answer, and they get it! Jackson Palem stings the corner, and the Great Danes an immediate answer.
Good God, Jackson Palem. Man, he made this corner feel this, getting down the alley. Now that's a high-quality shot. Off stick from Wyatt Nuss, just absorbing the contact. He made that one count, Jay, and that's what the UAlbany Great Danes need to stay in this game.
Perfectly placed to that top corner. And UAlbany, the immediate answer to make it a 1-goal game. Jackson Palem, the sophomore midfielder for the Great Danes. If the last name sounds familiar for PLL fans, he is the son of lead official Matt Palem.
Matt Palem, an absolute legend in the game of lacrosse. He's arguably a bigger celebrity in the game than some players, Jay.
Than you, certainly.
Set myself up there.
And UAlbany wins another face-off as we tick near 3 minutes remaining in this first half. A chance to equalize this game in 4.
How about Rocco Moreno just doing his absolute best work on Cascadon right now at the faceoff dot.
Kesselring trying to tee up Richmond there, and Cornell closest to the ball on the run out.
Talk about discipline, Jay. Silas Richmond, he's your best player. I just felt like that was a little bit rushed of a shot, and then not to have the shot back up. That can't happen at this moment in the game.
Now, Cornell on the season averages 16.5 goals per game, #1 scoring offense in the country. Been held to 4 goals in this first half with 2 minutes remaining. Herculean effort defensively by UAlbany. Can the defense deliver again? Didn't get a clean look there. Waldman, sophomore, tried to spin his way free. And Ryan Goldstein has the backup, but leaves it for Michael Long. Right back to Waldman. Shot clock under 20. Kirst calling for it, gets it. He's got 2 of the Big Reds' 4. Nation's leading goal scorer buries another. C.J. Kirst. It's a first half hat trick to put the Big Red up by 2.
Jay, I felt like Kirst was kind of hanging out on the crease a little bit. I didn't love that. He gets the ball here. He says, you know what? I'm the best player in the country. When I want a bucket, I'm going to go get it. He gets down the alley to his right hand, which has become a patented move of his, that jump shot with his right hand. And that hot pop coming out of his stick. Man, you can feel that.
13th hat trick of the season for C.J. Kirst. The heavy, heavy favorite to win the Tewaaraton Award, which goes to the nation's best player. A special season continuing here in Ithaca for that young man, C.J. Kirst. And whether you've heard his story 100 times or never heard it, it's Jeremy Schaap at halftime telling the Kirst family story and what a special young man C.J. is, coming from that incredible family out of New Jersey. You do not want to miss that story coming up at halftime as UAlbany takes a timeout.
When you watch CJ play, sometimes you just look up and he has a hat trick and you just wonder how it happens so effortlessly. I don't know if there's been another player that I've watched outside of Brennan O'Neill that just seemingly always has an opportunity, he's always in the right spot, and can just get shots off that other people just can't get off.
The tomorrow night, full night of NBA action on ESPN. It starts with the draft lottery before Game 4 between the Celtics and Knicks in the nightcap. Anthony Edwards of the Minnesota Timberwolves taking on the Golden State Warriors. Loaded NBA Monday as the playoffs continue. So draft lottery in the NBA. We just had the draft in the PLL earlier this week. #1, C.J. Kirst. Jules, you're playing for the Chaos. You get Owen Hiltz, who scored the game winner in overtime for the Orange earlier today.
What more could you ask for? Game winner out of Owen Hiltz, our first-round draft pick. He is a baller.
Well, you could ask to trade up for C.J. Kirst. What would that have taken? 4 first rounds?
I mean, to pass up on C.J. Kirst, you'd have to fire whoever did that.
Well, Bill Tierney, no fool, the Hall of Famer, now head coach of the Philadelphia Water Dogs. C.J. Kirst. His transition to the PLL, you think it'll be a smooth one?
Seamless. He's so good. off ball. I think that's something a lot of players struggle with, getting to the next level, just adjusting their role. Whatever role he's going to be asked to do at the next level, he's going to be able to fulfill it, and that's what's going to make him such a dangerous player for the rest of his career.
Coming out of the Scott Marr timeout, UAlbany with an opportunity to cut this deficit to 1 right before halftime. Shot clock is off. 30 seconds left of this first half. You'd have to imagine they're drawing up a look for 15 in purple. Silas Richmond started the scoring on an incredible shovel shot. It's been quiet since. Down to 7 seconds, Kesselring tangled up, trying to spin his way free, curls around, got a good look, but denied by Wyatt Nust. And that will do it for this first half. Been a very exciting back and forth between Cornell and UAlbany. Final game of this first round in the NCAA tournament. And #1 Cornell held to 5 goals in that first half. The #1 scoring offense in the country held to 5. A heroic effort by UAlbany in this first half, and we're joined by their head coach, Scott Marr. Coach, gotta feel pretty good about that first half. How did you keep the nation's leading offense to just 5 goals in that opening half?
We're just playing hard. I mean, our defense is sliding and recovering very well. You know, we've given Curse a couple open looks, which we got to try to obviously correct that. But we're just playing hard. I mean, I'm really proud of my kids so far. I think we've got to play a little harder on offense and move the ball a little bit more. But it's a tough defense. But we're really playing hard. I really like the way we're playing.
Yeah, Coach. How can you generate more higher percentage opportunities on the offensive side of the ball?
Yeah, we're just not moving it enough. We're kind of dodging single. You know, we got to get a little rhythm going. Got to get the ball working side to side a little bit better. Just be a little bit more unselfish. We're just dodging a little bit too much one-on-one right now.
Awesome. Coach Marr, we really appreciate the time. Good luck the rest of the way.
Thank you. I appreciate
Thanks, Coach.
One of the best head coaches in the sport in his 25th season, giving the top seed in this tournament everything they can handle. Cornell, just a 2-goal lead at the break.
This combo meal's got combinations. Make this thing your own creation. Entree, drink, and choice of sides. Oh, and it's free to swap fries. BK, have it your way.
Yellow. Didn't pass the tissue test? Dr. Garcia? Buckle up.
Whoa! Reality checkup!
There's toothpaste white, and then there's Crest 3D White Strips white. Oh, 1 sec.
Crest 3D White Strips safely work below the enamel surface to whiten like a $400 professional treatment.
Prepare for a non-stop smile.
The #1 teeth whitening brand in America. And use Crest 3D White toothpaste to maintain your smile. Crest.
So there's your green, Dan.
All right. We need the wheel. Perfect. Very nice.
Beep, beep.
A PenFed auto loan isn't just a great rate. It's another chapter in your great adventure.
Thanks for letting me drive, Dad.
PenFed's got great rates for everyone.
This love has taken its toll on me, she said goodbye.
Kia, movement that inspires.
These dishes just aren't getting clean.
The problem isn't your machine. It's likely your detergent.
Really?
Really. I recommend switching to Cascade Platinum Plus. These new pods are packed with more soaking, scrubbing, and rinsing action. Plus, the grease-fighting power of Dawn, easily removing up to 100% of tough stuck-on foods.
That's impressive.
And it works so well, it even keeps your filter clean. Cascade, the #1 recommended brand. Just scrape, load, and you're done.
From Rose Bowl festivities to Major League ballparks, ESPN Experiences takes you behind the scenes and inside the action. Next stop, the Travelers Championship. Your all-access pass starts here.
You don't get no second chances in March. It's win or go home.
I knew that I was going to have to step up.
My teammates look to me to be our leaders.
Top-seeded Cornell tested in that first half, just a 5-3 lead at the break. C.J. Kurtz did have a first-half hat trick, though, and he can't stop scoring. The all-time leader in goals in men's Division I lacrosse history, and Kurtz's path to greatness shaped by his family and the game which provided him so much strength in the darkest of times. I'd recommend you grab some tissues and listen to Jeremy Schaap tell a beautiful story about C.J. Kurtz.
With a stick in his hands, C.J. Kurtz is all but unstoppable.
Kurtz, and he's got another. A Cornell legend on the field.
But for all his singular talents, he's also the ultimate team player, which makes sense because CJ has 4 brothers. And together, the brothers Kurtz constitute a fraternity unlike any other.
What do your brothers mean to you?
They mean everything. Having them show up on game days, it really gives me a different edge, and they're my best friends.
The Kurtz brothers at this point, they are the spectacle of the sport. They are at the highest level, doing it in college and pro, Team USA.
The Kurtz inherited their passion for the sport from their father, Kyle. Kyle played goalie at Rutgers in the late 1980s.
Obviously, having our dad as a coach has impacted our lives forever and has shaped us into who we are.
My dad taught me how to play the right way, but also having fun while doing so.
How do 5 brothers all develop into such forces in the sport? Perhaps the better question is, how is the house in which they all grew up still standing?
I'd like to call it a fraternity house. Very much so, very much so.
We were always hanging out in the basement, downstairs, eating together. We always had each other.
It was the best. I mean, growing up, I wanted to do everything that they did.
When we would play, he could hold his own at a very young age.
It would get pretty rough. No fist, though. Never fist. Maybe a cheap shot here and there.
Bones were breaking, yes. Windows breaking.
Yeah, it was a tough time being a neighbor to us, so.
By 2015, Kyle Kurtz had been coaching at nearby Summit High School for 10 years. His 5 boys ranged in age from 17 to 9. One night that June, Kyle fell asleep on the couch in the family living room. He never woke up. A heart attack. He was 47.
It was tough. Being home with my family and, trying to really process what kind of happened.
It was definitely a nightmare.
Devastating, a shock, a surprise.
With Kyle's death, the town of Bernardsville rallied to help Michelle raise her boys.
It takes a village, and our village became a tremendous village with the passing of Kyle.
I was willing to commit the rest of my life to supporting these kids. They're amazing.
For the last decade, that surrogate family has come together in Chuck Meyer's garage to watch the Kurtz boys play on the big screen. When the games are on, they call this place Chuck's Pub.
It was organic. After Kyle passed, we wanted to watch the games, so we started watching here, and it just grew and grew and grew.
But on April 26th, Chuck's Pub was closed because the regulars had all trekked 250 miles to Ithaca, New York for senior day at Cornell and to see CJ break the all-time record for goals. He did it with his 225th in the game's first minute.
Kurtz! There is a new king! who reigns over Division I men's lacrosse goal scoring.
Kyle, he's up there cheering. He's coaching from above, for sure. He's overjoyed. And I just see that little CJ and the joy that he's really experiencing.
When you play for something so much bigger than yourself, brought me to a different light. Every single time I have the opportunity to play, I'm thinking of him.
Oh, what an incredible story about CJ Kirst and the Kirst family. And a happy Mother's Day to Michelle, the ultimate lacrosse mom. For more great stories like that, you can check out Game On, the journey to the NCAA championship, hosted by Jeremy Schaap and Paul Carcaterra, streaming now on ESPN+.
The combo meal changed the game at BK.
With so many options, I play my way.
Fries are my say, no compromise.
Winning big time, cause it's free to swap fries.
BK, have it your way.
So there's your granddad. All right. We need the wheel. Perfect. Very nice.
Beep, beep.
A PenFed auto loan isn't just a great rate. It's another chapter in your great adventure.
Thanks for letting me drive, Dad.
PenFed's got great rates for everyone.
Hey, brushing besties. Yet another toothpaste that does not whiten. Girl, this one works. Dr. Torres?
Reality checkup.
Guys, you need to try Crest 3G White Deep Stain Remover.
Basic toothpaste stops at the top. Crest goes deeper to dissolve the bonds that hold stains to teeth, lifting them away. For whiter teeth in one day.
Obsessed.
Crest. Walmart Plus. It's Walmart plus free delivery. Because cooking food is a lot more fun than shopping for it. It's Walmart plus an included Paramount Plus subscription to stream Dora, so your daughter can learn Espanol.
Delicioso.
Plus, you get 25% off at Burger King. And that's 25% more savings to put towards things you need, like napkins.
Delicioso.
Our thoughts exactly. Basically, it's Walmart plus more ways to save. Walmart Plus. It's Walmart Plus.
You don't get no second chances in March. This is what we've been preparing for.
It does not get much bigger than this one.
I play for those 3 letters on our chest. To me, it really means something.
When things get tough, my teammates look to me to be a leader.
This is a big moment. I knew that I was gonna have to step up. It's sweeter if it's harder to get what you want.
Welcome to golf's next major, the PGA Championship, with first coverage on ESPN Plus, leading you to ESPN.
First coverage starts at 7 a.m. Eastern on ESPN Plus.
A lot lower scoring than we expected, but a great game between UAlbany and top-seeded Cornell. Jules Henningberg, Jay Alter with you. The Big Reds still got their goals, but it was a slower start than we're used to seeing from them.
Absolutely, and credit to Brady Smith. He's absolutely standing on his head so far. The freshman showing up in the biggest game of his career.
Turnovers plagued Cornell as well. Just never really found their rhythm. CJ Kirst has 3 of Cornell's 5 goals.
When no one else shows up for Cornell, you can count on CJ Kirst. He's just so efficient with his opportunities. And I think for this half, Cornell, I would love to see CJ take over.
8 turnovers for Cornell and a season low, only 5 goals in that first half. That is the fewest goals in a half this season for the Big Red, and yet they lead by 2. The defense delivered. We'll start the second half from Ithaca when we come back.
Popeyes has gone full pickle. You got your pickle glazed sandwich. You got your fried pickles, pickle glazed wings, and what? Pickle lemonade? Where my pickle people at? Love that pickle from Popeyes.
With investing options from Navy Federal Credit Union, Rob feels financially at ease, which means he can worry about other things like landing this fish. What if the fish is really big? What if it's not a fish? What if it's treasure? What if the treasure is cursed? Rob has a lot of things to worry about, but as a member of Navy Federal, his finances aren't one of them. Become a member today. Navy Federal Credit Union. Our members are the mission.
Oh, pizza! We're trapped by dishes.
Don't worry. They've got new Dawn Power Suds. It'll power through this whole pile with ease.
Yeah, it's the dish soap with 2 times more powerful suds.
Lucky ducks.
Dawn's first suds that trap, lock, and remove 99% of grease.
So it doesn't get passed from dish to dish.
Ooh, clean and stacked.
Like ducks in a row.
Good one.
New Dawn Power Suds, the better grease getter.
An accused rapist, murderer, and child pornographer. All illegal aliens caught because of President Trump's leadership. I'm Kristi Noem, the United States Secretary of Homeland Security. Over 100,000 illegal aliens have been arrested. And if you're here illegally, you will be fined nearly $1,000 a day, imprisoned, and deported. But if you register using our CBP Home app and you leave now, you could come back. Under President Trump, America will be protected.
This Mother's Day, luxury is how Mom defines it. Of course, she might define it a few ways.
Dad, I did it!
Celebrate Mom luxuriously with 20% off store-wide through Mother's Day. Only at Jared Jewelers.
From Rose Bowl festivities to Major League ballparks, ESPN Experiences takes you behind the scenes and inside the action. Next stop, the Travelers Championship. Your all-access pass starts here.
Fun first half here in Ithaca. #1 Cornell getting tested by the America East champs UAlbany 5-3. Just a narrow second half lead. Jules Henningberg, Jay Alter with you. CJ Kurst got his first half hat trick, but UAlbany as a team really controlling what has been a dominant Cornell offense throughout this season.
You couldn't ask for a better start if you're the UAlbany Great Danes, and it starts with Brady Smith in the cage. The freshman has been tremendous here in this first half. It's going to be critical for him to continue this performance if UAlbany wants to secure a victory.
The freshman goalie playing in his first ever NCAA tournament game, holding the nation's #1 scoring offense to just 5 goals in the first half. That is the lowest amount of goals Cornell has scored in a half this season. Now, how do you sustain it over the course of an entire game? Different question.
Stick to the game plan. Ryan Goldstein, he's the guy that you cannot let get hot. They did a tremendous job in that first half. Max Neeson pushing out on him, killing the flow that Cornell tries to generate offensively.
And here's Kurst. First half hat trick for him, 3 of Cornell's 5. Kurst, he'll make you pay! Kurst buries his 4th goal of the game. And if there's anyone who's going to ignite this big red offense, it's 15 in white.
There's so much to say about CJ Kurst, Jay, and you just watch him here. He gets the ball in his stick early on, drawing the attention, and then he gets it out of his stick and he goes for a cut. And on that cut, he's going down the left alley, drops his head, and shoots it back to the far pipe. That is so special.
And with that goal, CJ Kurst has tied Ron Pennell for 102 points in a single season in a Cornell uniform. That is rarefied air. And if you were with us at halftime, tears in both of our eyes, and I'm sure many others watching at home, incredible story about C.J. Kirst and his family. So well done by one of the best storytellers in ESPN's history, Jeremy Schaap. A year ago, C.J. Kirst misses the NCAA tournament, but his freshman year made the title game, losing to Maryland. Would love to bookend what has been a remarkable Cornell career by hoisting that trophy. They have come out with a head of steam. Nearly another goal there, well saved by Brady Smith. And that's what's so dangerous about Cornell. When this offense gets rolling, there's really nothing you can do.
Agreed, Jay, but if you watch Max Neeson there, that's the exact kind of take that they want to force Cornell into. Don't let C.J. Kirst beat you. Let Ryan Goldstein try to dictate one-on-one against the best player in the America East defensively.
For as well as UAlbany played defensively in the first half, we heard from their veteran head coach Scott Marr that needed something offensively. Easy save there by Wyatt Nuss. But a flag comes in late, well after the shot. This is going to be against Matt Dooley.
White, Gil, you're good. Gil, you're unnecessary. 1 minute. Reset the shot clock.
This is a self-inflicted penalty by Dooley. Came way after the shot.
Just lowering his shoulder into Kesserling there, who really was taking a righty shot early in the possession with his offhand. I think that that's an unnecessary penalty to take there if you're Cornell.
And can this bring some life to UAlbany, going man up for the first time tonight? You have to imagine they're looking for 15 in purple, I was about to say. Instead, it was Palem who took it from deep. A comfortable save again made by Wyatt Nust. 8 saves for Nust.
It's about the third time tonight, Jay. I've just seen Albany take a shot a little bit too early in the possession. That's a chance where you can really wear Cornell down defensively and work for the best shot, not the first shot.
Big missed opportunity for the Great Danes. Man up. Cornell successfully kills the penalty, back to even strength. Here's Hugh Kelleher down the right alley. Finds Firth, the extra pass. Good ball movement for the Big Red to start this second half. Kirst brings that off the pipe. Inches away from a 5th goal.
Even when it doesn't go in, it's just right there every time. It's unbelievable to watch.
And he is bold, highlighted on every single scouting report, and yet continues to produce at a remarkable rate. UAlbany desperate to break down what has been a difficult Cornell defense in this first-round matchup. And the reason they earned this top seed largely was their offense, but it's their defense that has been the standout unit tonight. Kept in play by Alex Pfeiffer. And now Ryan Doherty, who's been very quiet, number 1 in purple, with 3 goals midweek in the play-in game to beat Siena. Richmond trying to beat 2, stolen away. Long outlet. Walker Schwartz settles it down.
Quality defense there out of the Cornell Big Red, but I did feel like Silas Richmond was just doing a little bit too much. He probably hasn't had the ball enough. Starting to feel that pressure. The best player on the field offensively for Albany has to make a play. That's just not the one he needed to make right there.
Kirst passes up the shot. That goes wide. Battle for the ball stays with Cornell. Goldstein a foot in front of Brady Smith. Waldman regathers, doesn't go to goal though. Brian Luzzi blows it by Brady Smith. And Cornell has their largest lead of the game, now a 4-goal cushion.
Starts with Cornell defensively, just absolutely mobbing Silas Richmond there to cause the turnover. And then Cornell, we talked to Coach Busick this week. The term that came up was leveling up offensively. I felt like Ryan Waldman there to start that possession turned down that low angle opportunity, and that led to the big time shot on the backside for Cornell to convert. That is an unselfish offense that has led Cornell to be the #1 offense in the country.
And for the first time tonight, Cornell starting to separate the Big Red on a 3-0 scoring run since the 1:25 mark of the second quarter. And it can be make it, take it at times for the Big Red. They turn it over, though. 8 turnovers in the first half. That's their first of this second half. What can the Great Danes do offensively, Jules, to ignite some offense? Their defense has played their hearts out to keep this within striking distance, but as Cornell starts to separate, they've got to find something offensively.
We talked to Coach Scott Marr at the half. What stood out to me was the one-on-one dodging. I just feel like there's a little bit too much of that. I want to see them attack their matchup, draw some attention, get the ball hot, get everyone involved, get Silas Richmond the ball on the backside after some attention has been drawn.
Jackson Palem, he's got a goal to his name. And now Kesselring with 20 seconds to shoot. No angle, and it nearly went. Long ricochet. Ground ball, stolen away. Cade Galco, the sophomore, not giving up on that possession for UAlbany. Scott Marr told us at halftime, I love the way my guys are competing. It's plays like that that fire up the head coach.
What a hard shack from Cade Galco, making his presence felt.
Big second chance opportunity for the Great Danes to cut into this 4-goal deficit, and they turn it over. Jason Singer, the Ivy League Defensive Player of the Year. Big ground ball off the errant pass. And now can Cornell punish UAlbany on the other end?
And Jay, I've been critical about Cornell's defense this week coming into this matchup. I know they obviously have the offense, they have it dialed into the faceoff that I felt like defensively they just weren't buttoned up enough, and you see tonight, they're absolutely stifling the UAlbany offense all over the field.
Kelleher, the big boy, steps into it and scores! Hugh Kelleher, showing why he was just named the Ivy League Midfielder of the Year, unleashes a flamethrower, and Cornell leads by 5.
What a deflating play for the UAlbany Great Danes. Hugh Kelleher setting the stage here. Cornell up 8-3.
Nine to 5 in the rear view, and now happy hour has arrived. Let's leave this man to his $6 Popeyes Big Box. That's work crunch balance.
Love that chicken from Popeyes.
With the everyday purchases you make on a credit card from PenFed, you can make your dreams a reality.
PenFed's got great rates for everyone.
Excuse me. Play you for those ultras?
Well, we're kind of high level.
Fascinating. Play you for those ultras? Ultras?
They got ultras. It's no ultra.
That was fun.
Well, this is the final game of what has been a fun day, a fun weekend in our first round. How about the reigning back-to-back champs knocking off the Big Ten champs to start the day? And then Maryland, the two-seeded Terps, rolling right through Air Force. And then right down the road in the Dome, it took overtime, but Syracuse, courtesy Owen Hiltz, the Orange, headed back to the quarterfinals. They scored 7 goals in that fourth quarter to force overtime and ultimately win it. So there's one final spot up for grabs in the quarterfinals. Richmond awaiting the winner of Cornell and UAlbany. And right now, the Big Red starting to find a rhythm, an 8-3 lead for Cornell here in Ithaca.
There was a couple games, Jay, where you look at them and you say, Maryland Air Force. High Maryland's going to take that game. Maybe Princeton, Towson's pretty good, but Princeton's a strong team this year. Potentially could make it to the national championship. The one game, I would be remiss if I didn't say this, Notre Dame, Ohio State. For Ohio State to get that matchup in the first round, the Big Ten champs, that's a really tough draw for the Buckeyes.
And obviously the committee does factor geography in. Do you feel like we need to get past that, where it's that glaring, and you go, whoa, hold on a second?
With the season that Ohio State had this year, Notre Dame, they lose in the ACC tournament. They get that Sunday off. They have to win the Big Ten, Ohio State. So they have to play 2 games in the same weekend and then go into this Notre Dame matchup a little bit beat up. That's really tough.
So Ohio State's season is over. You know, Ivy League fans thought Harvard was well on their way to a win. Syracuse had other ideas. Big save there by Brady Smith. Quick outlet as well. Little too quick, though, and UAlbany turns it over. Harvard ends up losing that game to Syracuse. Still could be a very good weekend for the Ivy League, both on the men's and the women's side. 3 women's Ivy League teams advancing to the quarterfinals earlier today.
Jay, whatever happens today with UAlbany, Brady Smith just stared down an absolute bomb from Walker Wallace. They have a goalie for the next 3 seasons that is big time in the America East.
Well, UAlbany, you know they love a great goalie. Your teammate for the Carolina Chaos, Blaze Reardon, obviously a remarkable career in a Great Danes uniform. It was 10 years ago that everybody learned the name Blaze Reardon, actually against Cornell, scoring that full field goal. You always remember where you are when you get a goalie goal. That shot never made it to Brady Smith. Took a deflection on the way there.
Talking about Blaze, one of the funniest guys I know. Ask him about that goal. Before the game, Connor Field didn't want to pass him the ball. If you watch closely in that clip, he fakes out Connor Field, who's wide open on the crease, to go score that. That's such Blaze fashion to get that done.
Is that the moment you think of when you think of UAlbany and Cornell? I know when we got the assignment, that's the first thing that popped into my head was Blaze Reardon's goal on this very weekend 10 years ago. Richmond spins free, bounces right into the stick of Wyatt Nust. Nine saves for Nust. Only 3 goals allowed. 75% for the senior out of Tampa, Florida. Big. Big hit, spinning right through it, keeping possession alive for Cornell. Waldman goes lefty, flies wide. Kirst calling for it, gets it, and scores! CJ Kirst does it again. 5 goals tonight. And you can ship the torch on to Ithaca.
Jay, he's a marked man. He's open all game long. It's off ball, too. Just watch him. He never stops moving his feet during his cuts. He starts at the top right of the box, cuts into the middle, slows down a little bit, then speeds up. He seemingly is able to get his hands free with the ball in his stick, with the ball out of his stick. He's unguardable in that sense.
And you talk to head coach Connor Busick, and he runs out of superlatives to describe his senior, CJ Kirst. Now, they came into it together. First year, Connor Busick was a head coach. 2022, Kirst a freshman. They make the national championship game, and Busick, reflecting on that, goes, we were kind of driving blind. He goes, we learned a lot from that experience. Now we are in full control with a path to Gillette Stadium. 9th game of this season with at least 5 goals scored in a game for Kirst. Video game type numbers.
47% shooting the ball coming into this game. When he shoots the ball, it feels like it's more likely going in than not every single time. It's insane to watch.
That pass picked off. We mentioned Cornell with their sights set on Foxborough. That's because the NCAA Men's Lacrosse Championship returns to Gillette Stadium. The semifinals beginning Saturday, May 24th, noon Eastern time on ESPN2. And for more information, you can go NCAA.com, your official online home for all 90 NCAA championships.
Jay, we have to start the conversation. 103 points for Kirst today. Throughout this game, this season, he continues along with the production that he's had. Could potentially eclipse 120 points for the season. Wins Tewaaraton, wins national championship. One of the greatest seasons in college lacrosse history.
Definitely greatest seasons, and then you factor in that nobody has scored more goals in the history of Division I lacrosse in a career than CJ Kirst. I agree. If he locks up the national championship this year, he elevates himself to that greatest ever conversation.
Top 5 offensively, no doubt about it.
What a goal! Mid-air quick stick finish. Colton Marquis, take a bow, young man. And that's UAlbany's first goal in 17 minutes. It's a beautiful one.
What a snag by Colton Marquis. Ben Wimmer finds him on the backside. Heads up play. You see him last second turn his head there to deceive the defense. Then Colton snags that thing out of the air. One time. That's so impressive. That takes so much skill to complete if you're Colton.
"17 minutes, 21 seconds between Great Dane's goals. It allowed Cornell to separate. Big Red lead is down to 5. A comfortable cushion for the top seed as we tick under a minute to go in this third quarter. CJ Kirst leading the way with 5 of Cornell's 9. After tasting that national championship game as a freshman, Kirst lost in his first round as a sophomore, missed the tournament entirely as a junior. They are fueled, they are fired up. Ivy League champs, the nation's longest winning streak at 10 straight wins. And their goal to lift the national championship on Memorial Day. Here's Kirst. Passes out of the double team. Usually, if you bring that double, they'll make you pay. 7 seconds remaining in the third quarter. Goldstein hurries off the restart, curling around. Big save to finish this third quarter. Brady Smith has done it all in goal for UAlbany. 9 saves for the freshman.
The ball, it just feels like something's going to happen. They play make it, take it, and now their defense is playing at championship level.
Connor Busick telling us they learned so many lessons from that 2022 run. First-year head coach making it all the way to the national championship game. And Busick played for this program, has such respect for the great history of this Cornell program, and telling us he's just the steward of this program.
And talk about Connor Busick, when he brought them to that national championship game, he was 29, 30 years old. That is a young coach. He's still the youngest coach in Division I right now. That experience for him personally was invaluable.
So UAlbany, who's been great defensively, they need to find 5 goals in this fourth quarter just to tie it at 9. And 5 goals is not insurmountable, but when you've only scored 4 for 3 entire quarters, it feels like a heavy lift.
Silas Richmond, he's on top of the crease. Cornell defense suffocating. He hasn't been able to get anything going all night long. So when you think about this fourth quarter and your UAlbany offensively, it just feels like you don't have a ton of confidence right now to get it going, to cut into this deficit.
And Cornell 13 minutes and 30 seconds away from reaching the quarterfinal. Richmond awaits the Big Red. That was a great regular season matchup on March 2nd. 1-goal game. Cornell won at 12-11 against the Spiders. Trailed for much of that game, including late. Would be a great quarterfinal rematch should this result hold. Great save, Brady Smith. What more could you ask from the freshman goalie? 10 saves tonight against the #1 scoring offense in the country. The Big Red reload. Ryan Goldstein been very quiet for his standards tonight. Number 30 in white has it here. Great footwork. Always picks the right pass. Does so there. And Firth put just enough on it to muscle it past Brady Smith.
Brady Smith looking a little bit banged up there off that Firth goal. If you're UAlbany, that's the last thing you want to have happen right now as Brady Smith gets pulled. But William Firth scores this off the Ryan Goldstein feed, and when Goldstein has a shorty, it's game over. And I said this to you before the game, Jay. William Firth reminds me an awful lot about 51 Jeff Teat that used to wear that number at Cornell, and I know he's a sophomore right now.
That's a big-time comparison.
He's a sophomore right now. When CJ Kirst graduates, he's slotting in at lefty attack. He's got 44 points on the season at midfield, unanimous, or not unanimous, but first team, all Ivy League. I expect his numbers to double next season at attack.
Wow, okay. Well, Jeff Teat, only the greatest player on the planet right now, so glad we're going with realistic comps here.
Trust, Hill Academy, Canadians, they played a different level.
What I will say is Connor Busick talks a lot about his philosophies and his principles of this program, and a big one is leveling up. Well, Firth was the Ivy League Rookie of the Year. So how do you level up? Well, he's got more goals, more assists in his sophomore campaign than he did a year ago. And CJ Kirst embodies that leveling up motto. the well done is greater than well said mentality. Continuing to chase greatness. And Busick, talking about Kerr, said good has never been good enough for him. And his teammates really respond to that message. If it's not good enough for CJ, then we all got to keep chasing it as well.
I had an opportunity.
Right on cue! CJ Kirst, a flamethrower, stings the corner. 6 goals for Kirst, and that's the best of the bunch. A jaw dropper.
Hey. I was about to talk about CJ Kirst shooting with this kid a year ago. I had never seen a player more dialed in than CJ Kirst. He was a junior at the time. He's a senior now with the right hand. He didn't have that his entire career. He developed that to shoot that shot, CJ Kirst. Unbelievable.
Happy Mother's Day, Michelle Kirst, the ultimate lacrosse mom. Mom of 5 boys that have taken this sport to a new level with the youngest CJ. 6 goals tonight. He's already the nation's leading scorer in the history of Division I lacrosse. To go offhand like that, Jules, is ridiculous.
Jay, not only to go offhand, but that's just not something he had in his bag. And now that is an elite shot for him.
Second youngest Kirst brother, by the way, Caden, of course, the goalie at Rutgers right now. Great save by Nust. You were telling me off air just the memories you have growing up in New Jersey of the Kirst family, and you've got so many great ones, but one really stood out about the Kirst family father, the late Kyle Kirst.
There was a quote up there, if you knew him, you were lucky. When I was growing up in New Jersey, I had the opportunity to play with a couple of the Kirst brothers. Colin, the goalie for the Boston Cans right now, he was a sophomore when I was a senior playing at varsity at Seton Hall Prep. He texted me and said, hey, I would love to hop on a phone call with you and my dad. Mind you, he was the summit coach at our opposing high school. They were a rival of ours. He hopped on the phone with me. Colin organized it as a sophomore. I'm a senior, to talk about how I can improve my performance. Not only talks about the character of him right there, but his father and the advice willing to give anyone, just wanted to uplift everyone around him.
And if you missed the halftime feature about the Kirst family, you should go on ESPN Plus and stream the Game On journey to the NCAA championship. Great job by Jeremy Schaap and Paul Carcaterra. Streaming now on ESPN Plus. I don't think there's a better story in college lacrosse right now than the Kirst family.
Talk about stewards.
What a goal! Kelleher, that corner's taking a beating right now.
Brady Smith has done everything he can, Jay. It was only a matter of time before the floodgates opened up. And this guy, Hugh Kelleher, man, he's the real deal. When he gets his feet going, I mean, he is hard to stop. That's old school lacrosse right there. A big-time mini taking a jump shot in the middle of the field like that with his offhand, hitting that top right corner. Cornell is doing everything they can right now to continue their run. Up 12. I don't know if there's ever been more of a lock than CJ Kirst for the Tourton Award.
A remarkable career, a special season. And they are under 10 minutes away from advancing to the quarterfinals. Richmond will be a difficult matchup. The Spiders playing inspired lacrosse right now. It was a 1-goal regular season game when they met back on March 2nd. But tonight showed that Cornell does not even need to be at their best offensively, and they still find ways to win. Connor Busick calls it complementary lacrosse, and that's what they've been this year. Hands free, and he'll make you pay. Silas Richmond. He's a special player too, just a junior. And he has led UAlbany on a great campaign.
Silas been doing everything he can tonight for UAlbany, and finally he gets his hands free. And when a player like this has his hands free with his strong hand, he's gonna make it count. Steps into that, driving off that back foot and absolutely unloading into that top corner. Silas Richmond, he's a guy to watch. for the next year. Someone that Coach Marr said has the potential to be a Lyle Thompson, Connor Fields level player for UAlbany.
Almost quick work there, ringing it off the pipe. And Kirst can sit on it. Even after the Richmond goal, Cornell, very comfortable lead. 9 minutes remaining in this fourth quarter.
The first potential error of the night for CJ Kirst. You know what he does? He sprints to get the ground ball to track it down so it doesn't go out of bounds. That shows the type of spirit and energy that this guy plays with.
And when your best player is your hardest worker who does all the little things, it raises everybody around you. And that's exactly what Kirst has done for this Cornell program.
Craziest stat I heard on Kirst, 60 career caused turnovers. He's 6th all time.
Great goal there. Shot clock ticking under 3. Kelleher buries it. Continue with your stat.
6th all time
for Cornell.
Caused turnovers for Cornell as an attackman.
Crazy.
That doesn't even make sense, Jay.
No, it does not. So Kelleher has a hat trick.
Kelleher showing his off-ball prowess here, just settling into the green, grabbing them with his right hand. That's a difficult shot, shooting over the UAlbany defender, putting it in the bottom right corner. He has more skill than people give him credit for.
And Michael Long, 2 goals and now 4 assists. Just another day at the office for him. It took Cornell a little while to get going offensively, but they have been very good in this second half, Jules.
You mentioned Michael Long, 2 and 4. What a quiet 6 points for the senior. He's a guy that, talk about not getting enough credit. Everyone talks about Goldstein on the attack. CJ Kirst, no-brainer. But Michael Long, he's the brains of the operation. He's the guy that's directing traffic. He's talking about the film with guys. He's getting everyone involved. He's the glue to this Cornell offense.
Cornell with their foot on the gas, up by 8. What ball movement. And another spectacular goal. Ryan Sheehan, the senior, can't do it much better than that, Jules.
Jay, I gotta say, do you understand how difficult it is to get the collective buy-in to play like this on offense? The word we heard from Coach Busick, we mentioned it earlier, leveling up. Goldstein, leveling up, leveling up. Finally, the ball gets back up top to Ryan Sheehan to score it. That was 3 opportunities that they passed up on. That is unbelievable high IQ lacrosse, and that's exactly why the Cornell Big Red have 14 goals scored with 7 minutes left.
And remember, they had a season low, only 5 goals in the first half. Well, you said it when Cornell was struggling in that first quarter. It's only a matter of time before they get going. And for as well as UAlbany played defensively, they failed to capitalize it on the offensive end. And then the Cornell tidal wave did eventually come in this second half.
I've been on both sides of that. When you're UAlbany, you're almost holding your breath a little bit. You're like, I know it's going to come eventually. We want to make it count before it does. And then all of a sudden, it comes, and it comes in bunches with Cornell. Another save by Wyatt Nuss there. Jay, who has quietly had a great night for Cornell. What a tremendous story with him. Potentially being a backup last year, struggling a little bit. He stepped into his senior year and has had 11 saves tonight. I had an opportunity to coach Wyatt a little bit before he went off to Cornell and actually shoot on him. Jade, he had some of the fastest hands I've ever seen for a player of his age, and he's showcasing that tonight.
You always make the opposing goalie look good, Jules. I'm joking.
As long as we're 10 yards and in, Jay, I'm okay. But watch out for this season. First 2-point goal, loading. I know I've said that for about 6 years.
Yeah, we're still waiting. I can't believe the PLL's only a couple of weeks away.
I know it comes quick. Long off season. I think this is potentially one of the most competitive years in PLL history coming up. Very, very deep top to bottom in the league this year.
It begins May 30th, 6 Eastern time on ESPN+. Jules getting ready to play for the Chaos. We'll see C.J. Kirst in a Water Dogs uniform. Hugh Kelleher, drafted by the New York Atlas. And hot off the press, Jules, I have just received the quarterfinal times for next weekend. Cornell, assuming they can hold on to this lead the final 4.5 minutes here, will take on Richmond, noon Saturday, ESPNU. Great goal there out of the midfield. Connor Fingar, the New York native, bouncer to bury that one.
Fingar, just his third goal of the season. The senior, his last opportunity to play, stepping into one and making it count. The defensive midfielder just crow hopping there and putting everything he could to get that one past Wyatt Nuss.
Okay, so quarterfinal times. We've got Cornell, Richmond, noon Saturday, ESPNU. That'll be followed at 2:30 by Syracuse and Princeton. What a matchup that is going to be. And then Sunday, also on ESPNU, Penn State, Notre Dame at noon, and Maryland, Georgetown at 2:30.
Georgetown. That's a team to watch out for. Aiden Carroll
went off.
He had a move, a split dodge to his left hand to score. Dynamic threat. He's a big-time player for Georgetown.
And everybody was dogging the ACC, and rightly so, after Duke and North Carolina lost. But Syracuse found a way to win, and Notre Dame knocked off the Big Ten champs. How many do the ACC get to championship weekend? And then Cornell and Princeton. Can the Ivy League get 2 to Gillette? Those are some loaded quarterfinals, though.
Yeah.
So I'm looking over that.
Oh, yeah. But it's balanced. It's a balanced year for all the conferences. Ivy League, Big Ten, ACC. Obviously, you got Richmond in there.
Great goal, Firth, the crafty Canadian. And after that slow first half, Cornell gets to 15, one shy of their season average.
Firth, after Michael Long drew the attention, he's not going to get any credit for that. The hit and assist in the offense, they don't care. It's all about getting the best shot. William Firth catching that, hitching to get to top side to his strong hand, and burying that ball again, Jay. He's an attackman playing midfield. First team all Ivy League. That is very, very difficult to do. Not to mention, he isn't this dynamic dodging threat. He just does a lot of small things very, very well and makes his impact felt all over the offense.
Final 3 minutes in what has been a fun first round of the men's lacrosse NCAA tournament. What was your most impressive performance over the entire weekend, Jules?
I gotta say, Syracuse pulling it out. Dead to rights, down 5. We turned that game on all of a sudden they're up, and then they win in overtime. And that would have been a big tilt, getting another Ivy League team into the quarterfinals.
And then there's Notre Dame, who goes on the road and knocks off the Big Ten champs. You are the champion until someone beats you, until someone says otherwise, and they've won the last two. They're back in the quarterfinal.
It's true, and again, just a tough draw for Ohio State to get the defending champs in the first round. They have to figure out a way, Jay, for that not to be the case.
Totally agree. Totally agree. And I get that only the top 8 seeds are technically seeded, but you've got to, and I know they try to keep the integrity of the bracket. It just feels like they stretched it a little there due to the geography constraints. At minimum, I feel like you got to send them to Penn State. You can't send them to Ohio State at that 4 spot. So it'll be Penn State, Notre Dame next Sunday, noon Eastern time. The quarterfinals start on Saturday with Cornell and Richmond. All games on ESPNU. That Princeton-Syracuse game will be spectacular. They've 2 just storied programs that have battled for national championships meeting in the quarterfinals. That's Saturday, 2:30 Eastern time.
Offensive firepower all over the field between those two teams, between Coulter Mackesy, Chad Palumbo for Princeton, Nate Kabiri, and then Syracuse, you have Owen Hiltz just drafted to the Chaos. Joey Spallina having an unbelievable season again. A lot of firepower to watch out for.
It was far from pretty in the first half for Cornell, but they have turned it on in this second half. This is going to end up being a comfortable win for the top-seeded Big Red. We're just talking about the quarterfinals next weekend. Weekend after that, the Men's Lacrosse Championship back in Foxborough this season. Semifinals Saturday, May 24th, noon Eastern time on ESPN2. And for more information, NCAA.com, your official online home for all 90 NCAA championships. If I put you on the spot and said pick a favorite of those 8 remaining, would you go with Cornell?
I was literally about to ask you who you think your favorite team is.
Well, that's your job. You're the analyst. I'm not picking anybody.
I have to go with Cornell just because watching them today, to be at their potential worst offensively this entire season, to still score 15 goals the way that they do, okay, they can handle the offense. But then defensively, I just felt like they took another step tonight. And we talked to Coach Busick this week, and he mentioned that there's been some injuries, and they've had to play a lot of offense, or a lot of defense because they play so much offense, they score so many goals. I think they took a step defensively. This is a team I do not want to play.
Now they'll go into the quarterfinals on an 11-game win streak. The lone loss in overtime, so no one's beat them in regulation, and that came to Penn State back on March 8th. C.J. Kirst continues to be the best story and the best scorer in college lacrosse. 6 goals to his name tonight. Embodies that motto, well done is greater than well said.
I was also very impressed with Jay after watching Notre Dame last week get eliminated in that first game by Syracuse. I felt like today they played with a completely different edge all across the field that they didn't have last week. They have the playoff experience. They know how to get it done. I think they're another team to watch out for making a run.
Great save, and that's the backup as Wyatt Nust was pulled. Tully in cage for Cornell. Gets into the box score. And the Big Red, an uncomfortable first half, ends up being a 9-goal win. And Cornell is headed to the quarterfinals for the first time since 2022. Now, this is a